wondering what happens now.
The Illuminati will see you, Stephen.
Oh, that's something.
The multiverse will change you forever.
We will see what kind of Doctor Strange you are.
Marvel Studios Doctor Strange, rated PG-13, CD premium launch formats in IMAX. Only in theaters
Trinidad,
Friday.
the Island Man, your Island Man, come to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. And today, Saturday, the day after the opening, May 6th, of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I want to go ahead and give you my review. Now, others have seen this movie. It opened up in many places on Wednesday. I saw it last night, Friday night, and I just got out of the movie theater today, Saturday, only a mere few hours later after the last Friday night showing, to see it again because it is that good. So without further ado, remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, basically Doctor Strange Part 2, it is a shock a thumbs up. Let me tell you that Sam Raimi, the director, all the way from the Evil Dead series of movies, gosh, knocks it out of the park. He nails it with this movie. Just right off the bat, let me just say that this incorporates into the Marvel Cinematic Universe an aspect of the horror genre that we have not seen ever yet in the MCU. And nobody can do it like Sam Raimi. There are plenty of his famous shots where people, where the camera just zooms in on people. You get weird, funky angles as reality starts to unravel, not only in the multiverse itself, but also into one person's mind, going into that aspect of madness that you associate with a kind of vertigo kind of feel. Not seen from Sam Raimi, not seen from any other director since maybe Hitchcock himself. That is how I'm comparing Sam Raimi as a director. He is one of the greats, especially with the horror genre, way up there with Hitchcock himself. And knocking it out of the park with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Shock a thumbs up all the way. Of course, this stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel McAdams, newcomer, I believe, Achiel Gomez as American Chavez in this. Additionally, Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch, as Wanda Maximoff. Basically reprising her role, not only as the Scarlet Witch, not only as Elizabeth Olsen reprising her role as Wanda, directly following up on the fantastic Disney Plus TV show Wanda Vision. This is its epic conclusion of the show. Yes, we know that the series ended, very tragically, but that tragedy did not end for Elizabeth Olsen's character, Wanda. She carries that through, and what we had seen from Wanda Vision, her studying this tome, The Darkhold, it completely grasps and takes over her mind, bleeding that darkness deep inside her soul, to forcing her to wish to go into every other aspect of the multiverse. And destroy it if she cannot be with her children whom she had lost in the series. Yes, it is that kind of movie, and yes, Wanda turns out to be the ultimate bad in this movie, kind of, sort of, pretty much, but she is controlled and taken over by both her grief and the Darkhold, which supersizes her power level immensely to that of which not only can Doctor Strange not handle her directly, none of the other sorcerers, Wong returns, he is still the Sorcerer Supreme. All of the other sorcerers on the planet, fall against her. Basically, she wipes them all out to where it's just almost Wong and, Doctor Strange battling her alone. And even that in itself is not enough. What can I tell you about this story? You've seen the trailers. I put a little bit of the last teaser trailer in there just to get you into the mood for this. This will be a total spoiler filled review, so don't say you weren't warned. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. This sets out at a breakneck pace, directly plunging you into the action, whereas we are caught into a pursuit by some demonic creature pursuing some version of Doctor Strange in one of the realities, and our heroine or damsel in distress that Doctor Strange is trying to save, this American Chavez woman who we discover has the power to travel throughout the multiverse at will, almost, if she could control her powers. So there is that aspect of it. But that is the exact power that Wanda Maximoff wants to obtain so that she can move to a different reality and be with her children, who she has seen in dreams, just as Doctor Strange sees himself getting killed defending this child against these demons, later directly against Wanda Maximoff, who he learns is sending these monsters after her to try to siphon her power off, very much like Vanessa Harkless was doing in the Wanda show, trying to siphon off Wanda's power. Now Wanda tries to siphon off American Chavez's powers of traveling through the multiverse, all again to try to be with her children. Let me just say that, again, the action in this, especially at the beginning, is at breakneck speed. It's very dazzling. I've seen this in standard, kind of an IMAX as well, and I recommend IMAX. I've seen it in IMAX and standard. I would recommend 3D for this movie because of the spinning visual effects. It is wonderful, and I can't praise it enough. What more could I tell you about the story? Oh yeah, what you see in the trailer, especially this last teaser trailer, we knew Professor Xavier was going to be in it. We knew from the last teaser that the Illuminati was going to be in it, and to include Captain Carter. There was speculations on the other one. Maybe we would have Tom Cruise as a different Iron Man, the superior Iron Man. Perhaps a Black Panther version with, maybe Michael B. Jordan. No, not true, not in that. But we do have Reed Richards. Now, when I had seen Bruce Campbell, who is in the film, famous always for being in at least some cameo version of some part in all of the Sam Raimi movies, I would say that I was looking at his tweet that he had done saying that he had felt strange being in a Sam Raimi movie and dressing as Doctor Strange. I knew that that would be that he was trying to throw people off, and I suspected that maybe, you know, with his physique and his haircut and everything, he could easily have stood in. I wouldn't have thought otherwise, you know, given it a second thought if he had shown up as Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four in this movie. But he does not. It is none other than John Krasinski, which implies absolutely, well, yeah, absolutely implies, I don't know if it's fact, that he may actually star in a Fantastic Four movie along with his wife. You know, and there is news that he may be up for directing that movie, as well as starring along with his beautiful wife, which fans have always wanted those two to be Sue Reed and Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. Now, again, that's not verified, but this cameo by John Krasinski to be as Reed Richards in this, as one of the members of the Illuminati, along with Professor Xavier, along with Black Bolt, yes, Black Bolt from the television show Inhumans. Ensign Mount returns, reprising his role as Black Bolt. I never thought Feige would do such a thing, but he has done it. And he's absolutely wonderful. Well, you know, I mean, that show suffered from poor writing and lousy budget. You know, being on a TV show. Yes, it was shot in beautiful Hawaii. However, you know, they really didn't give that show the money that it needed. And maybe in the future, on a Disney Plus kind of budget, it might come back around. But to see him reprise his role as Black Bolt of the Inhumans is absolutely amazing. And we get to see his awesome power level in this movie as well. So there is that. We have Monica Rambeau, played by the actress who had just been in the latest James Bond movie, who was in the original Captain Marvel. She is Captain Marvel, just like she was in the comics. She is this multiverse's 838, I believe they called it, universe, whereas ours, or where Doctor Strange is originally from, our Doctor Strange, as if this was that reality and he was running around here, was 616, just like in the comic books. But in 838, that Doctor Strange is dead, having turned himself evil, reading the Darkhold, and causing what Reed Richards describes as an incursion, very much like a time quake kind of thing that you know, Loki and the Loki show was talking about, how that can destroy you know, a multiverse's reality. This incursion is where two or more realities collide, causing destruction to one or both of the realities. And we find that 838's Doctor Strange had done this, having turned to the Darkhold, seeking powers, knowledge through other multiverses in an attempt to stop Thanos. His version, that 838's version of Thanos. And they stand up against the Illuminati stands up against Thanos. But Doctor Strange, using the evil tome, is corrupted and ends up destroying trillions of people along with an entire reality. Possibly this is the reality that we see in, or at least he might have had an influence in, the What If series Doctor Strange that we also see in this movie, where he seeking the love of Christine, who has continued to die in his universe, and try to bring her back to life and to stop himself from becoming Doctor Strange, ends up destroying his own universe. It is possible that the 838 universe, well, daywalking, they call it, a spell where he can take over another version of himself in a different reality's mind and interact with others. He might have done this to the What If Doctor Strange, thus causing him to be corrupted and thus destroying his reality. And so the Illuminati put him to death. Black Bolt blasts this versions of Doctor Strange out of existence in a spectacular show of his monstrous vocal abilities, which Black Bolt is known for. He emits, any word he speaks is enough of a sonic blast to destroy anything. And against that, what hope is Wanda when she comes to try to steal American Chavez away from the Illuminati and our version, 616's version of Doctor Strange? Well, because she is able to also warp reality to a certain extent, Black Bolt no longer has a mouth. So how can he speak when he utters his cry to try to blast her? And with no mouth, his powers implode his own head. And just like in the What If version of Ultron taking over and getting the Infinity Stones, Wanda is able to defeat Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau's Captain Marvel, although she is by far the toughest. Captain Carter as well is a member of the Illuminati from the What If series, and fight as brave as she does. She's, of course, as our Captain America would be, Steve Rogers, no match for Wanda Maximoff and the evil Scarlet Witch's powers, as she is torn in two, basically. Add that of Charles Xavier doing a fantastic attempt to stop her, Wanda Maximoff, on her own, a la Phoenix, Dark Phoenix kind of a version of events, and her mind is just too powerful to be hampered by Professor Xavier and his psychic powers being futile against her. She easily dispatches him. So the Illuminati is no more. Doctor Strange on the run with, or 616's Doctor Strange on the run with American Chavez, seek the Book of Vishanti, just as we had seen in that What If Doctor Strange episode, its powers are more than a match for the Darkhold. Unfortunately, Scarlet Witch knows this and destroys it before they can be used. That forces Doctor Strange to fight evil with evil and himself read the Darkhold in an attempt to gain enough power to defeat Wanda Maximoff. However, it is not enough. What is enough, you might ask? Well, I was wondering the same thing. American Chavez is able to show her the life that she would want. A family, her 2 children return from another reality. The same children from the show, so you're already well versed with them and how heartfelt Wanda is with her children from watching Wanda Vision, the TV show. They and that Multiverse's Wanda see the darkness that this Scarlet Witch, 616's Scarlet Witch, this version of Wanda how evil she had become, how terrifying she is to her children, and her children refuse to, be consoled by this evil version of Wanda Maximoff, thus holding up a mirror showing 616 version of Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, that even if she destroys everyone but the children in this reality, they will never accept her as their true mother. And thus she realizes that all of her depression, turmoil, and her hopes of turning to the dark side to achieve what she wants can never be granted. And it is faced with that reality. And yet, additionally, being told by 838's Wanda Maximoff that your children will be loved, that she loves them, Wanda loves them, she loves them, and she is Wanda, so that she can be consoled enough to know that although she, 616's Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, can never be with her children again, this version does exist and will always be with her children, and her children will always love their mother. So she can be consoled by that, reinforced by that. Her mind is able to break away from the Darkhold's hold, and she is able to turn the full force and power of the Scarlet Witch, her powers, directly against the Darkhold, wiping it out in every single reality throughout the multiverse at the cost of her own life. And thus it ends. The universe, the multiverse, the world is saved. Doctor Strange saves American Chavez. American Chavez saves Doctor Strange and the multiverse by showing Wanda Maximoff the events that would happen if she was successful in taking her powers. That she would never gain what she wanted, the love of her children, by violence and force, and becoming the monster that she never wanted to be. And so everything's happy, except Doctor Strange did read from the Darkhold in his fight to gain power against Wanda, this evil Scarlet Witch. And no one who reads that tome, just like the Necronomicon, is ever the same again. And that is where it is taken into account for a continuation into Doctor Strange Part 3, whatever that will be called. But he will return in Part 3, and he has to make amends for an incursion that he has caused, as he is finally met with Cleo, who I believe is played by Charlize Theron. At least that's who it looked like with the makeup, as Cleo. In Doctor Strange lore and comics, she becomes the love of Doctor Strange. And, you know, through his ordeals through the multiverse, he is able to put away his feelings for Rachel McAdams' character, Christine, and move on. So now he can move on with Cleo, as in the comic books. As she asks him for help, that will lead into Doctor Strange 3, the next continuation in this journey through the multiverse and dimensions. So what does all this mean? I've given you pretty much all the spoilers, everything that happens. Sorry if you didn't want it, there it is. Gosh, what more can I say? This does not, with the conclusion of this movie, mean the X-Men are now in the MCU. But it does lead open the gateway that there are multiple realities. The X-Men are out there in some reality. The Fantastic Four is in some reality. When those movies do roll around, they may not be connected to the current 616 universe that we are used to. Or, as this battle with due to the incursion of Doctor Strange continues, that may still open up another rift where people have to come over into our reality, 616's reality, to survive. So perhaps the Fantastic Four from another universe will come into that one, the X-Men from the other universe comes into ours, and there'll be just the one 616 universe that everyone populates. Who knows? We will see, but that is the question for a later date. And of course, how does Kang play into this factor as well in the upcoming Ant-Man Multimania, or whatever that one is called. But yes, Quadrophenia or something like that, I think it's called. But yes, so I don't know. I don't know what is next for the MCU. The possibilities are still endless. The X-Men are still out there. The Fantastic Four are out there. We know they exist now in some version of reality in the MCU, and we might see them sooner or later within the next 4 or 5 years in some version or another. But are they running around right now with what's left of our Avengers, with the Young Avengers, with Hawkeye from the Hawkeye series, and what's her name? Not currently. So this movie doesn't do a lot to change the setting on the MCU, but it does kind of bump the needle towards that direction ever so slightly, as you can tell in the multiverse. Little adjustments can cause a big ripple down the road. So we will just have to wait and see. All right, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, giving you the spoiler spectacular of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go see it. You can't sit on this movie. It is imperative that you see it just to understand the next phase, the rest of phase 4 in the MCU. All right, mahalo and aloha.